Welcome, everyone. There's some seats down in front here if anyone would like to have a seat. We want to welcome you all to Audubon Circle. Wonderful. So thank you all for being here to celebrate the groundbreaking of the Audubon Circle reconstruction project. As so many of you here know, Audubon Circle was originally designed in 1887 by Frederick Law Olmsted. It's a gateway to the Fenway and the Emerald Necklace. The Boston Transportation Department is thrilled to have this opportunity to work with the Audubon Circle Neighborhood Association and so many others in your community in shaping the design for Audubon Circle. This new design will feature landscaping, seating, so many other amenities for your neighborhood residents. And what this really does is this completes Frederick Law Olmsted's vision. As I learned today from the architect who worked on this project and the designers, that was never completed. So this is really part of the mayor's vision for connecting our neighborhoods, to bringing open space here, and to creating great streets and great gathering places in our own communities. So with that, I'd like to really welcome the man whose vision has made all of this possible and so many other projects that are going on around the city. But as you look out here, you see that this truly is a gateway. It's a gateway to the Emerald Necklace, but it's a gateway to building our communities. And you have no stronger advocate for that vision. And his vision helped shape the reason why we're here today. It seems like not long ago that we all gathered here with your Audubon neighborhood community, and Mayor Walsh was here, and he met with you and our own planners. And the reason why we're here today is because of the support that we have from our leadership. And with that, I'd like to welcome your mayor, Mayor Martin J. Walsh.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me just start by really thanking the community. You know, you recognize, and I was talking to a few of the members of the community already, you recognize there's an issue, a problem with pedestrian crossings. You know that we've had some problems in the city over the last couple of years. I know we're working on Vision Zero, but how do we make transportation easier and more effective and more efficient for folks? And when I say transportation, I don't just simply mean driving, I mean walking and bicycling. So this really came from the neighborhood, and I want to thank you for it. I also want to thank the Councilor, Councilor Zakim, who constantly has been pushing the city and pushing transportation and pushing water and sewer, pushing the state, along with Representative China Tyler, on their great advocacy to make sure that this project doesn't get put on the back burner and doesn't get pushed aside. So again, I want to thank them both today, but in particular Councilor Zakim for his long advocacy ever since probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we had the first conversation. I want to thank you for that, Josh, and for your great work. I have to give a shout out to MassDOT, Water and Sewer, the contractor. Thank you as well. Mike Nichols, and you're going to hear from Mike a little bit from the neighborhood group. I want to thank you as well. I want to thank Children's Hospital and the Landmark Center for the contributions they've made to the maintenance fund here to maintain this great area. I look forward, we're going to hear from Dr. Pinsky in a minute, but I want to thank him as well for helping with the poetry installation. This is my first time that we're doing a groundbreaking to improve a road where we're going to incorporate poetry. So we're pretty excited, and so we're very excited about that, and this is something that we're going to start. If we only knew 30 years ago that we'd have poems on the Big Dig instead of we'd have some controversy that wasn't there. But Audubon Circle, as everyone here knows, is more than an intersection. It's a symbol of Boston, and it's a gateway into our city. If you ask the marathon runners about it, they'll tell you we have a unique historical architect found only in Boston as people run. This area connects people with universities, hospitals, Fenway Park, the Emerald Necklace, into their homes. And I think sometimes we overlook that. It actually, people live in the neighborhood here. And this neighborhood connects you to your home, so I want to just give you a shout out, homeowners that are here. The infrastructure here in Audubon Circle should live up to that, should live up to this neighborhood's expectations. It has to be safe for our walking and biking. It has to be environmentally friendly for our future of our kids and the future of our city and our Commonwealth and our country. And it should be beautiful and welcoming. And it should be a place where you can enjoy, spend time, not just passing through. That's what Audubon Circle was originally designed to do. And with this reconstruction, that's exactly what it will be. Between the state, the water and sewer, and the city, this is more than a $7 million investment right here, public investment in the circle. It's going to join the nearby capital projects of another $610,000 into the Muddy River, $820,000 into the entrance of the Fens on Westland Ave, and also it's also going to help us with our progress towards Boston Arts Academy, which we'll be announcing at some point in the near future, hopefully. These investments are essential to Boston's keeping the character of our city in one of the most unique historical neighborhoods in the United States of America. So I just want to once again thank the neighbors here. Thank you for fighting over the years for preserving the unique character of Audubon Circle and the vision of how you can make it better. And I truly want to thank that, and I also want to thank, again, City Councilor Zakim and State Representative China Tyler, who's here, because both of their input and also fighting for funding is important for all of us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank our design team that was guided by HDR Incorporated with Crosby, Schlesinger, Small Ridge of Boston. And we're joined here today by CSS landscape architect Dan Norman. Mario Susi and Son, also of Boston, will be the contractor for this project. So let's give them a hand of applause. And I'd also like to recognize so many members of the city team who made this vision a reality. The Boston Transportation Department planner, Charlotte Fleetwood. She's done a wonderful job with the project design and the community process. Katie Cho from the Public Transportation Department. Para J. Singh, Zach Wasmuth, Tan Pham. They're all taking the lead for the Boston Public Works Department in making this project a reality. And I'd also like to recognize Charlie Jewell from the Boston Water and Sewer Commission. He's worked tirelessly with all of our city planners and our city staff to make this project happen. Thank you, Charlie. But as the mayor talked about, this is really a project that was born of a vision and started with your community. And your community is represented by Councilor Josh Zakim. And Councilor Zakim is a tireless advocate for you. Councilor Zakim works closely with the Transportation Department, with our chiefs of streets, and with our Public Works Department to build safer streets in collaboration with all of our city departments. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome your Councilor, Josh Zakim.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you all for coming out here today and for your partnership on this work. As the Mayor and Commissioner Fiandaca said, this has been a partnership over the last few years of people in this community, of the Neighborhood Association. I'm looking forward to hearing from the Neighborhood Association President Mike Nichols in a little bit. And public and private partnerships from the partners who have come in here and committed to maintaining this area, to the design team that has spent, Charlotte, you've been to as many meetings as anyone on this, and spending countless hours to work to not only beautify a neighborhood, but to make it safer. As we continue talking about Vision Zero and reducing incidents and injuries from pedestrians, cyclists, and in cars across the city, it's so important that we're looking at this holistically. And I'm excited to begin work further down Beacon Street. I know we talked about in the Transportation Department hearing earlier this week that there's been a commitment from Mayor Walsh and his team to do this work in every neighborhood. And in many ways, Audubon Circle is the gateway to the city of Boston. When people are coming in here, whether it's to work, whether it's running the marathon, whether it's going to the different events or cultural attractions we have, it's so important that they come through a place that looks as good as it can, that is a credit to the neighborhood, to the city, to the people who live and work here. It's been my pleasure and honor to represent you all in the City Council the last few years, and I look forward to continuing this partnership with the people who live in this neighborhood, the institutions who have contributed to this project, and Mayor Walsh and his administration, who have been so helpful and thoughtful in the outreach we have done, both on safety issues, on infrastructure improvements throughout the district, and particularly in this area and other parts of the Fenway most recently. We've seen a real investment in safety and improvements in design and ways that we're going to continue to make this city and this neighborhood more welcoming, more livable, and better for everyone, residents and visitors alike. And that's something I've been committed to continuing to work on with this team, and I can't say enough how exciting it is to see the progress from the first year when we were having meetings about this to the next year, to getting this in the budget, to being here for such an important groundbreaking, and having the partnership from the state, both MassDOT and Representative Tyler, obviously, who's been a great partner on this. It's a true pleasure to be here to see the beginning of this project. I look forward to coming back here with you as we celebrate the completion and continuing on to the next steps. So thank you all, and I look forward to getting going.
Part of the partnership here, it did include MassDOT, and so I'd like to take an opportunity to recognize Walter Heller, who's here representing MassDOT. Thank you. The Audubon Circle Neighborhood Association has been a terrific partner throughout the design and the community process, and I'd like to personally thank all members of the Audubon Circle Neighborhood Association for their time, for their ideas, and their support in helping this project become a reality. I'd like to welcome your president, Mike Nichols, to the podium to say a few words.
Well, thank you everyone for coming today. This is certainly a very exciting day for those of us that live in Audubon Circle, and I would be remiss to not begin with a couple of sort of our claims to fame. One that's very fond of being discussed in the neighborhood is a past mayor called Audubon Circle, Boston's best little pocket neighborhood. We are a part of the Fenway, and we are very proud of that status, but in our own right, Audubon Circle has really become Boston's best little pocket neighborhood, and it's thanks to those who invest your time and resources and care in living here and looking after the neighborhood. A very little known fact, actually, but one that we are reminded of on the board by our board historian, Kathy Greeno, is that, Mr. Mayor, we are actually the first and maybe only residence location in the city of Boston for current Governor Charlie Baker. So you can let Governor Baker know, and I'm glad he's represented here today by Walter Heller of MassDOT, that we appreciate the support on this project for what was once his home neighborhood. And finally, as the mayor alluded to, we're actually very proud of our status as not only an entry point and a gateway to the city of Boston, but we are the neighborhood of Boston that welcomes Boston Marathon runners each year. And so it's just one day of many in this neighborhood that we're very proud of, but it's a particular point of pride that when the runners come out of Brookline and finally see those signs announcing their arrival in Boston, that they're entering Audubon Circle. We couldn't be more thrilled with this project. As many of the speakers before me have said, it really will, we believe, improve safety in the neighborhood, improve traffic flow, the livability for those of us that live here. It provides important access to open space, important access to incorporating the arts into the daily lives of local residents. And on all those measures, we were just so very happy to have had the partnership of the city and of the state to make this a reality. I want to start by thanking our board, the Audubon Circle Neighborhood Association board, as many around the city, and all volunteer board. For those that are here who are either current or past members of the board, could you just raise your hand and be acknowledged for all your hard work? And in particular, I want to thank three members who have led the subcommittee efforts, Pat Johnson, Lillian Lambrechts, and Alex Monreal, for the hundreds and hundreds of hours that you've put towards this project and your vision to make this a reality. Certainly want to thank Mayor Walsh. Mayor Walsh last year became the first sitting mayor ever to attend our annual meeting of the Audubon Circle Neighborhood Association. Since his election, has been a strong partner of this neighborhood. And this project is one that I think for a very long time felt out of reach. And so to see it come to fruition today, to see the construction vehicles in the area, to learn more about the Vision Zero initiative, all things that we couldn't have done without your leadership and the leadership of your staff. So thank you. and in particular, I think, too few city employees get recognized for the work that they do day in and day out around the city. We're appreciative to have with us today Commissioner Fiandaca, to Chief Osgood, to Charlotte Fleetwood for all the work that you've done on this project. So when anyone who's a city employee, please raise your hand to be recognized. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you also again to MassDOT, to Boston Water and Sewer. Thank you to our elected officials who are here today, Councilor Zakim and Rep. Tyler, for your support, along with Senator Brownsberger, who couldn't be here today. Also, one debt of gratitude we owe to Congressman Capuano, who helped with a sort of related project to this project that the Neighborhood Association is very thankful for. A couple final quick thank yous. Thank you to the donors to this project, Samuels and Associates, Peter Sudagrides, Children's Hospital, for your support on this project, making it a reality. And John Reardon here today. Thank you to Children's Hospital. Thank you to the Brown Fund. We're very excited about the incorporation, again, of public art. As you look around the neighborhood here in this location, you see the birds that are on the light post, which was our first partnership with the Brown Fund, a public art element in our neighborhood. We're again proud to have a public art component be brought to the neighborhood, so thank you to the Brown Fund. Thank you also to Robert Pinsky for your partnership on this project. It is quite awe-inspiring to many of us to have your expertise be represented in the selection of poets for this project, so thank you. And finally, thank you to the contractors, to the designers, to everyone that made this a reality. We couldn't be more happy. Thank you.
So the final design for Audubon Circle will feature the four corners and four benches that will be home to planters. And those planters will be inscribed with poems reflecting the four seasons. So as we think about how we redesign our streets for safety and embrace the Vision Zero initiative, we know that we can build beautiful streets and we can build beautiful gathering places. So we're fortunate to have former U.S. poet laureate Robert Pinsky select those four poems for the project. And now I'd like to welcome Mr. Pinsky to say a few words about those poems.
Thank you so much. I am very grateful and honored to have chosen poems, quotations from poems by the likes of Robert Frost and Emily Dickinson. My friend and colleague and your neighbor, Nobel Prize winning poet Derek Walcott, lived a few blocks from here on St. Mary Street for a very long time. We lost Derek, who died a few months ago this year, and thanks to his family, we have permission to also include on one of the four planters poetry by Derek. I'm going to use my time to read the poem Derek's quotation comes from. The poem is called The Season of Phantasmal Peace. It's very much about birds and the tradition, the human tradition in which birds and their song embody meaning and are related to human meaning. This is Derek Walcott's poem. Then all the nations of birds lifted together the huge net of the shadows of this earth in dialects, twittering tongues, stitching it. They lifted up the shadows of pines down trackless slopes. They lifted the shadows of glass-faced towers down streets, the shadow of a frail plant on a city still. The birds' cries at dusk, there was no longer dusk or season, decline or weather, only this phantasmal light. And men could not see, looking up, what the wild geese drew. The ospreys trailed behind them in silvery ropes that flashed in the icy sunlight. Battalions of starlings waging peaceful cries, bearing the net higher, the net of meaning covering this world like the vines of an orchard, or a mother drawing the trembling gauze over the eyes of a child fluttering to sleep. The killdeer's screech, the ember-circling cough, such an immense, soundless high concern for the fields and the cities where the birds belong. It was their seasonal passing, love made seasonless from the high privilege of their birth. Brighter than pity for the wingless ones below them, we, who shared dark holes in windows and houses, and higher they lifted the net with soundless voices above all change, all betrayals, and this season lasted one moment, like the pause between dusk and darkness, between fury and peace. But for such as our earth is now, that peace lasted long. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. And thank all of you for coming here and helping us celebrate this groundbreaking. So we just have one more task, and I'm going to recruit my colleagues here behind me, and we're going to grab some shovels, and we're going to break some ground.
Michael.